Well, North Hobart Oval becomes the 42nd ground to host A-League men's football and the 123rd since the National League started back in 1977. Hobart hosted the first recorded football match in Tasmania in 1879. And here is the team news. Couple of changes for Western. Jacob Tratt is suspended, of course, after being sent off against the Jets last week. So Tomoki Imai shifts across to right back. Nikolai Topor-Stanley comes in alongside Leo Lacroix in the middle of the defence. Josh Risdon continues on the left in place of the injured Ben Garuccio. The other change is in attack, where Alexander Prijovic is missing with a shoulder injury suffered against Newcastle. So it's a first A-League men's start for Noah Botic. All his previous 10 games have come off the bench. Just the one change for Sydney, but a big one with the much-awaited return of captain Alex Wilkinson, who hasn't played since the opening day defeat to Melbourne Victory. Aaron Gerd is demoted to the bench to accommodate his return. Jack Rodwell remains on the sidelines. Max Burgess plays against his former club and actually made his senior debut for Sydney at this ground in that pre-season friendly against Victory in September 2014. In terms of the substitutes, Steve Lustica still missing for Western, but James Troisi and Alessandro Diamanti are both on the pine, and 5 academy players in reserve for Sydney FC, including Patrick Wood. Well, a key battle today could be in midfield, two veterans at the heart of their respective teams' midfield areas. Neil Kilkenny, who celebrated his 150th A-League men's match last week against the Jets. And a blast on the whistle confirms that a little piece of history is made. Men's National League football officially underway in Hobart. Andy Harper, and we only had to wait 144 years.
Great to be with you, Simon. Picture perfect. What a stunning backdrop. A stunning place, Tasmania. Beautiful playing surface, great conditions for A-League men's football. And a lot for both teams to try and achieve here today.
And I would imagine first priority for both is a clean sheet. They've been pretty thin on the ground, haven't they, for both these two teams this season?
Yeah, and so much of that revolves around for different reasons. Two key personnel, Leo Lacroix, just dishing that ball off to Nikolai Topor-Stanley for Western. And Alex Wilkinson's return to Sydney FC, haven't they missed him? The ongoing absences of Jack Rodwell, that's just compounded the problems for Sydney, who find themselves chasing the pack. Can their fortunes change here today?
Joe Lolly unable to find a way around the imposing figure of Nikolai Topor-Stanley. Back in the team, of course, after that red card against MacArthur a couple of games ago, which incidentally was his first red cards in his entire career. Ball's gone out of play on the far side.
Sloppy start from both sets of players. Firstly, Leo Lacroix with a completely unforced error. Deep in his own territory. Western have been punished for those types of mistakes thus far this season. And Robert Mack, out on the left wing for Sydney, inexplicably hit the ball straight out again.
Western's record in Tasmania, almost perfect. 5 games played, 4 wins, 1 draw. They've conceded just 1 goal. Here's Lafondra. Probably should have been 2. He just dragged his shot wide.
It's a great side on goal. He's needing just that little bit more energy. Johnny Aloisi, happy with the setup, can draw Sydney in, but when it's time to go, you've got to close your opponents down.
The history books show, of course, that backing up after a title win is hellish difficult. Only Brisbane and Sydney have done it. Now Lolly's gone down. Is there a stray arm there from Topor-Stanley that's caught him in the face? Looks like it. Let's have another look. Yeah, it's that trailing arm, isn't it? The right elbow that connects with the schnoz of Joe Lolly. You think they need a bit of a livener, Hubs?
Well, these are perfect conditions. The intensity needs to go up at least 100%. And I must say, I couldn't disagree with almost anything that Marco Rudan said last week.
Yeah.
But then you get to this set of circumstances, climactically. It's perfect for the footballers.
Let's see if Sydney can up the ante here. Lolly, Caceres, Grants. That's where it breaks down. Of course, the other problem is trying to play fluent football if you're not in the best of form, and neither of these two teams are. Finding a rhythm becomes tricky as well. Sydney have made good inroads down this right-hand side. Caceres trying to find Lolly, but yeah, clear push into the back of Risdon. Doesn't look pretty, does that? That bit of gauze just hanging out of the left nostril, and still blood on the chin of the Englishman.
No, it's a good foray forward for Sydney. And it was a pretty cheap giveaway from Joe Lolly, who might have to get some more attention. There's still some blood making its way through.
Oh, Doumbia turning into trouble. Here's Mack, disguised around Lacroix, and a good save from Jamie Young. Made himself big. Clearest chance of the game so far. And Robert Mack couldn't take it. But far too easily given away in midfield by Tongo Doumbia.
Yeah, well, the ball out from Topor Stanley left a lot to be desired. It put Noah Bodic under great pressure. He couldn't control it first time. And then in the end, the can was being carried by Doumbia. It's a beautiful move to make the space from Robert Mack. Just wonder why he didn't back himself with his left foot from there. Good save from Jamie Young. Does beautifully here, Mack. He sells Leo Lacroix. Although I've got to say, if that goes in, of course, it's a catalogue of poor play from Western.
Here's Parias. And the cross went to the back post from Wales, and there was nobody there for Western. Well, that's a poor giveaway. Doumbia! Oh! Well, he gave that a bit of gunpowder.
And I don't think it would have been out of place for him to have scored a specky like that. Not so much on today's form. He's been serviceable today. But generally, he's delivered an offering, and that would have been quite a goal. He's certainly thumped it. Redmayne stretching.
Grant into a good area for Lafondra. Lolly. And Lafondra pinching it back, and Burgess looking for that top corner, but too much purchase on it.
Yeah, a chance to get it away, Western couldn't quite capitalise. It's a really good opportunity, this, for Max Burgess to score against his former club. Doumbia closing him down after a heavy touch, presented the ball to Lafondra.
Here is Burgess in possession. Sydney with the only 2 shots on target of the game so far. Mack with the cross. Lolly in position. It's Lafondra. Danger here for Western. Caceres should have made it 1-0 for Sydney. Just ever so slightly off balance at the point of release.
Well, this is unbelievably good space for Anthony Caceres. And really expected him to at least find the target there. Ball took a bobble, but nothing that shouldn't have been dealt with.
Fourth official Jack Morgan is ready to indicate the additional minutes, of which there will be 2. Overall assessment of this opening half for both teams' halves?
Well, 2 teams who came in with questionable form and lack of confidence, and we've seen 45 minutes that's underwritten all that. And just my question is, someone's got to break the surface tension here. You don't get out of form necessarily by just standing off and hoping. and conservative. It's a great opportunity for the first team that decides to go for it here. They're pretty happy for 45 minutes to just sit off and watch the other people play with the ball in front of them. Josh Risdon even backing off on that occasion.
Good people of Hobart have had to wait nearly 150 years for National League men's football. And they're going to have to wait a bit longer for the first goal. Is half-time in Hobart. Two teams whose matches between them this season have featured 78 goals. Two rather leaky defences. But so far, the two goalkeepers relatively untroubled. Sydney have probably created the better opportunities. Anthony Caceres might have scored at the other end. Tongo Doumbia flashed one wide with a fair bit of power. But at the break, it is goalless. Western United 0, Sydney FC 0. Let's see what transpires in the second 45. But the Hobart fans enjoying seeing National League football. The Western United women's team defeating Brisbane Roar earlier on today in the Liberty A-League. Now it's the turn of the men. And Western started the second half with a little bit more of that intensity, and they've got a free kick for the foul on Botic. There's the women's team, successful earlier on today.
Great start to the comp from the Western United women.
Aren't they doing well?
Excellent. Good on them.
Torcaso doing a terrific job leading that expansion team. Neil Kilkenny's got notes on for free kicks as well as corners on his wrist. Floats it in, but too close to Redmayne.
I wonder what part of the tape on his wrist said hit ball straight to Andrew Redmayne. I mean, easy to say that from him, being facetious. Not quite coming off. The trajectory of his free kicks, Kilkenny has offered a bit of promise for Western United today.
Now here's an interesting stat, Harps, which maybe points to one of the problems for Western this season. Neil Kilkenny has had the joint most shots on target, on goal of any player this season. Here's a chance for Caceres, big one too for Sydney. And Jamie Young drops gratefully on the ball, and Caceres should really have had a double today.
Two great chances, most unlike him. And Kilkenny not able to go with Caceres, and it's basically a back pass. He can't quite line the ball up. Caceres to get a decent swing at the ball, but it's basically a back pass.
Risdon to sling it forward, and Caballo had to readjust. Wales will pick up the loose ball. Arias outside him. Tamoki Imai inside the box, the furthest forward. Weak clearance by Caballo, and Wales, and it drops here for Parias, beaten away by Redmayne. Two saves he's had to make in 2 minutes now, Andrew Redmayne. Western with a lot more intent. Parias again. Floating it towards the back post. Donachie was there. And Kilkenny, and another save for Redmayne. There's the goal, or is it no? Dylan Parias thought he'd scored, but the glance towards the linesman near side somewhat gave the game away. The flag was up.
Well, another telling stat, attacking stat for Neil Kilkenny. There's Parias coming back from an offside position. Redmayne very thankful. Untidy goalkeeping from him.
Burgess. Mack with Lacroix in pursuit. Always around him with ease, Robert Mack. And Imai, the deflection made it awkward for Young. It's a really good save by the goalkeeper. Still alive for Max Burgess. Tries to go around the outside. Young pushes it away again. And Lolly's shot is blocked by Lacroix. Western really stretched there. Sydney will come again. Caceres. And Joe Lolly. And wide. And they're grateful to Jamie Young, Western United.
As a focus of the pre-game chat, Jamie Young, because of these heroics, as we see on the Harvey Norman replay. Lovely stuff from Robert Mack. We've only had a couple of glimpses of him today, and the deflection made Jamie Young really work for it. Good little passage for Sydney. Good desperation. Beautiful. He really is capable of some trickery, Robbie Mack. Jamie Young is more than capable of the heroics, as we've seen.
Intelligent little reverse ball for Burgess. Robert Mack is away down the left. Caballo galloping forward to give him an option. And here is the Spaniard. Caballo drills it back across the face, looking for Joe Lolly, and the acrobatic stuff from Lafondra was eye-catching. Unfortunately for Sydney, not good enough to beat Jamie Young. Interesting to see if Alex Wilkinson can get through the full 90 minutes. Not played since round one. Imai's been done by the flight of that ball. Mack in behind, across the face, not a strong arm away by Jamie Young, and it needed that touch. And he's keeping them in the game at the moment, the Western United custodian. Burgess. Lolly. Caceres. It's Burgess. Trot on the foot, I think, there of Neil Kilkenny. And it's going to be a card here.
Well, terrific stuff again from Jamie Young. He's had a stellar second half. Lovely ball from Wilkinson. Misread from Imai. Don't see that terribly often. That's a beautiful touch from Macca. That's a clever option too. Needed to pull that back just a little bit, but still. And Jamie Young, that's great composure. And it's not just to swat the ball away, Simon. He was aware of the vacant space at nominal left fullback for the Western United team, and that's where he caressed the ball.
Wales. Strong run from Lockie Wales. Rattray struggling to keep pace with him. It's a good release too. It's Parias, and Redmayne with a reflex save just flung out the left arm to deflect the ball over the top. Excellent run from Lockie Wales to create that opportunity.
Well, he presented this sort of promise in the opening part of the game. Lockie Wales has gone off the boil a little bit.
Signal did go up, but Alex King didn't see it. Western can perhaps profit from that. It's Troisi on the ball. And still Troisi, and he wanted the glory himself.
Well, they've been positive off the bench, both Diamante and Troisi for Western. Can Aaron Gerd be positive off the bench, as well as Segicic? Wilkinson is making way. Great to see him get through unscathed. Let's hope he's unscathed at least.
So Aaron Gerd and Adrian Segicic off the bench for Sydney. Dylan Wenzel-Halls awaiting his turn. Connor Payne making the long walk. He's worked hard, Connor Payne, but not had an awful lot of joy, you'd suggest, against Ryan Grant.
Looks like Siggers has just come on for Robbie Mack.
Oh, cheeky! Oh! That is unbelievable! And who else? Alessandro Diamanti. His surname translates to diamond in Italian, and diamond he most certainly is. That is incredible, and it might just have won the points for Western United.
Well, unbelievable from Alessandro Del Piero, except it's not unbelievable. We know he's capable. Diamanti, beautiful stuff on the Harvey Norman replay. Andrew Redmayne stranded, no fault on the goalkeeper. They've been good off the bench, both Troisi and now Diamanti. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Glorious, glorious, glorious. Superb, superb, superb.
60 seconds to try and salvage something. Segicic has a throw. They need a goal. Volley loses out. Wenzel Halls. And Milanovic surely just run in the direction of Cradle Mountain now and keep the ball for the next few seconds, and they're done. That's what he's trying to do. Sydney's possession. They've got to get it upfield and quickly. Bratton goes long now. A throw off Imai. Is there time for it to be taken? Well, only just. All over in Hobart. A big win for Western. And it all came about from one moment of pure magic from their very special Italian import, Alessandro Diamanti. With just 5 minutes to go, Steve Corica wanders away, muttering under his breath. They had their chances today, Sydney. Anthony Caceres with a couple of them. A wry smile to his old mate, John Aloisi. But that little bit of class in the end told for Western as they maintain their unbeaten record in Tasmania and become the first men's team to win a competitive match in National League football in Hobart. Sydney now with just one win in 6 matches. Western United 1, Sydney FC 0 it finished.